Hello, everyone. Welcome. Carl Steinbeck here. Just wanted to say something real quick about this release of the videotapes, excuse me, the audio tapes we've seen today, initially released early in the morning by Deep Dive True Crime. And we've seen some other publications today on other shows like Law and Crime. And I thought that one had the best version of it. And they actually are reporting the same thing I posted on the title tonight and also in the narrative. So I see here in the chat, some folks are saying that there's different interpretations of it. So the I think what Law and Crime said is correct. That's what I'm hearing. I've also talked to a couple attorneys, and they are hearing the same thing. So the um, the thing is, we will have an enhanced version coming forth in the coming days, I'm sure, and from that, we'll be able to have absolute clarification on it. And so, in any event, if this is true, accurate and true, what we're saying here is what the text was. We hear all the words in that text very clearly, and the words following that by Donna have to do with um, yes, oh yes, you were, or it's almost like she started to say bull, but then it was a sort of bu, and then she says yes, you were. So it sounds like she was refuting what the text said. That was very clear to me. And I think these will be very much coming out and confirming that. And if it's not, I'll admit that. But I think it's very clear. Law and Crime thought it was clear. They had a very clear version of it. And so that's what I think is out there. And I'm sure the state's attorney's office will do some enhancement of these as well. And I think that'll confirm what my suspicions are. And so I think this evidence, assuming this confirms through enhancement, is what is being said. That is a huge, huge thing for the state attorney's office to use against Wendi. And I think this would speed up prosecution efforts, having these kind of conversations. And think about what's also on the phones. We still don't know what's on the phones, and also what's out there on the tablet that was recovered from the high rise condo of Harvey and Donna. So there's a lot more that's going to be coming out on this, but I thought it's important to get this out there right now that this is very, very much damning evidence. This conversation, and ask yourself the question: why would Wendi be sending this text to her mother right after her son Charlie gets convicted of murdering Danny Markell? Why would she be sending the text? If you had nothing to do with the murder, why would you send in a text saying, "Hey, I didn't have anything to do with it"? Right? Is anybody else in South Miami sending text saying, "Hey, we didn't have anything to do with it"? The only reason that you'd send that kind of text is because you're trying to create and maintain the distance that you had agreed to many years before. And this was another reinforcement because they are running scared, they're cornered, and they're frantically trying to figure out what to do. And she's talking on 1 minute about killing herself. The next minute she's saying, but she's not suicidal. She's talking about leaving for Vietnam and whatnot on these tapes. I have not listened to all the tapes yet, so I still need to listen to more of them. And but this thing here about uh oh yes you are or were, that to me is extremely incriminating. So unless somebody can tell me that's a forensic person that that's not what they heard, then I would I would I bet you that was the actual words that were used. So I'm looking at some questions. If you have a question, please say that. Please put some question marks in front of it. So why would this conversation be coming up if she wasn't angry about the fact that Wendi was refuting her involvement in this murder? Why would she be texting her that? Can anybody here that's listening come up with one reasonable explanation why that would be happening? And think about it. They say one thing and then they have to deflect. So you say one thing, then deny it. You say you're suicidal, then you say you're not. So that's part of their code talk as well. So say something that's incriminating maybe to Wendy, then maybe backtrack it. So maybe there's going to be something else that backtracks it. But that one snippet there, I think, is very clear. So I'm just jumping down here to see the comments. Lori Gregory is asking, Donna said that Daniel Rashbaum told her about the flight. Was he helping her? I think, was it him telling her about the flight or did she tell him? I'm not sure what that was. I haven't got that far on the tapes today. So I'm going to listen to it more tomorrow and see what exactly you're talking about there. But I did see there was a question that somebody sent to me today saying if Dan Rashbaum knew about Harvey and Donna fleeing the country, is that some kind of aiding and abetting? And I said no, because they didn't know that they had a warrant out for their arrest. So and they didn't get very far, obviously. So that's not an issue there. So here we got Private Eye Posse saying we really need that verification. There's a glitch in the sound just before that. You can clearly hear her say, "I didn't say she was." I hope I'm wrong. I don't hear that at all. So unless you're listening to a different version that I'm listening to, those are too many. Those are too many words being spoken there. So the version that they played on Law and Crime did not have that. So here, Wood Owl says on one call, Donna seems to imply that Rashbaum warned her of imminent indictment and seemed to encourage Wendy to run. Can he continue to represent her? Is he a potential witness? Lawyers don't become witnesses like that, so I can tell you that. And think about it. What she's saying about what the lawyer said to her isn't necessarily true. I think one of the things that is true, what I did hear was that Charlie had he was talking to some male friend, and the male friend was saying that Rashbaum was telling him this case is, going to turn out fine. He's going to be acquitted. At the worst, it would be a hung jury, but there's no way a Tallahassee jury would convict him. So I think they really, really believed that he is going to walk free, just like we heard he was telling the van driver when he was being brought from the jail over to the courthouse during his trial, that he said, "Is this a van that's going to bring me home?" So that's what I think. I think that also confirms the fact that they thought Charlie was the one that was going to set them all free. Charlie was going to get acquitted, and the rest of them would never have to face any kind of justice at all. Yeah, and Dr. Kinsella is saying it's like I did him so bad for Murdaugh. I mean, how do you spin that around? There's different types of interpretations. Yeah, people will be saying things about that, but I think if there's an enhancement, that's going to clarify it, and so I look forward to that. So someone else here is saying someone's saying here that hold on a second. I'm not understanding. That's one question I'm looking at. Dr. Ansel is saying, who is the other lady on the call? Are you talking about this one I'm referencing here? It was Charlie on the other line. So what about Rashbaum helping her get out of town? Asks Lori Gregory. So I don't know that I mean, if he says you might want to flee because you have an indictment pending. If he didn't know the indictment pending, he's just suspicious of that. So I think as long as he doesn't know there's a warrant out for the rest and he's encouraging the run, then I don't see that as doing anything to obstruct justice. It would be really bizarre for an attorney to say that, though. I would be very surprised. And like I said, we don't have him on tape saying that, and it could be another way to um, deflect and point the finger at Rashbaum for um, making it look like he's the one that came up with the idea to flee the country, not her. So we don't know what the truth is of that. But I just thought that this part here about the Wendy bringing up the fact that she's not involved in the crime. Why would you bring that up to your mom in a text days after your brother is convicted of murder? Why would you do that if you weren't involved? That makes no sense whatsoever. So can anybody explain that? I don't think there's any logical, reasonable explanation. It's about as far fetched as the double extortion theory. Okay, Woodall says that deep dive true crime has improved the quality of the audio. I know he's working on some of that earlier, but like I say, the one that I heard from Law and Crime seemed pretty clear. Maui Swift is saying, "Can I play it, Carl?" I don't know how good the quality of it for you guys here would be. Let me go to this a second. Here we go. Wendi had sent to her. I am not guilty because I did not do anything wrong, and I was not involved in any way with Danny's death. Sure. Donna was reading from a text that Wendi had sent to her. I am not guilty because I did not do anything wrong, and I was not involved in any way with Danny's death. Sure. Donna was reading from a text that Wendi had sent to her. I am not guilty because I did not do anything wrong, and I was not involved in any way with Danny's death. Sure. Donna was reading. Okay, so how can you get from that? Oh, yes, you were. I didn't say you were. I don't. I mean, there's have to be something else taken out of there. So that would be a really bad copy. So, like I say, it begs the question: why is she bringing that up? So keep in mind, they're going to have the phone, and they'll be able to retract that, and they're going to have a search warrant to pull all the emails. So they're going to have a lot more evidence of conversation between these folks. So I think this is such a big key, and I think this is really going to speed up the prosecution efforts against Wendi. And so this is really good news, I think, for the state attorney's office. They're probably still processing all these as well, and they probably already have them over the same guy that enhanced the Dolce Vita videotapes. He's probably enhancing it as well. So Bloomingdale's asking, does this text now make it harder or easier for Donna to make a plea with the state? I don't see Donna cutting a deal at all. I think she just wants to go to trial. She's going to have the same belief that they'll just get a better jury this time. They got those stupid Tallahassee people that just went back there, didn't even listen to any evidence. Georgia was able to bamboozle the jurors into just listening to some dumbed down, as Donna called it, dumbed down evidence as a third grade level. And they just went back there and were just lollygagging and socializing. And they go, here, where do you sign? Yeah, just find them all guilty. And I did hear something to the effect that Charlie was saying that he was mad about the fact that Wendy's book was brought up there as well, slamming Tallahassee and mocking it, and that's one of the reasons why that he's probably guilty, was found guilty because they basically incited the jury to hate the Adelsons or something like that. So it was really just everything about blaming everybody else, never talking about the innocence of them, never talking about how, gee, why didn't the jury believe this, extortion theory and all that kind of stuff? None of that. So it's sort of like they had them. If you listen to them, from what I've heard so far, the mindset is they're in complete utter disbelief that a couple $1,000,000 did not get him out of the jail. You spend a couple $1,000,000 on your defense, and you got nothing to show for it but a conviction on all counts. So okay, Barb 417 saying, plan slow speed. I didn't say she was. Okay, um that's a lot more syllables there involved in those kind of words. So those aren't on this tape. So unless there's a different tape out there that refutes this one. So Sarah Glenn is saying, "Wow, I've not heard the clear version yet. Oh my, Wendy must be reeling right now." Well, that's what Law and Order said after that. This tape played on Law and Order. What they did was the host said, "If I was something effective, if I was Wendy, I'd be really nervous right now after hearing that tape come out." So that's why I agree with that. It seemed very clear. It wasn't these extra syllables that a few people are saying that they thought they heard on a different version. So um, all right, Sundance Spirit is saying, but does it really matter what she said, considering there was a third party in the room and whatever she said could have been for the benefit of this third party? I don't know what you mean by third party in the room, so I don't know what context that's about, but she's talking about the text that she received from Wendy, and she's saying what her response is to that. So if there's something more out there that they did not include in that, then I don't know what you mean by this third individual. So how, the apparent context was she was talking about this to Charlie's because these are recorded calls. So if she's with somebody else, the third person, are you talking about Harvey or something? So I don't know how that would change the context of what was said. So Dr. Kinsella is saying that Donna says Rashomon is helping her choose which country to flee. Is that ethical? Well, I'm not going to get into Florida ethics for attorneys here because that's a really that's a really that's really something if an attorney's going to tell somebody how to flee the country and because you think an indictment's coming down. That's I would say probably a lot of attorneys would, as long as there's not an indictment there. I guess it's more of a moral issue at that point. Do you really want somebody to be able to flee the country like that? But I will say this: when I did a Google of extradition from Vietnam, there is a number of extraditions that we've successfully accomplished. The United States have with Americans that have fled over there, like the Adelsons were trying to do, and it just takes longer to accomplish. We got to incentivize them and give them some money, most likely, and so it's not as quick as a country that we do have an extradition treaty with, but suffice it to say that she would have been back here, and maybe it would have taken a couple years, but she would have been back here and she would have been on the run. So it wouldn't have been a fun, easy life for her, even though it's very cheap, it's very inexpensive to live there, and it's very nice from what we talked about earlier. So Stella Bella 310 says Donna was clearly upset the way Wendy had been treating her, Harvey, and Charlie. Yeah, that's what I was taking to be the problem. Ronnie asks, why wouldn't Donna and Charlie be talking on a private line? Are there private lines only for attorneys and clients? So I assume the private lines would be just for the attorney and the client. That's the one that they do not listen in. So I think when they're talking about a private line, that may be for the attorneys to be able to talk to their clients. So the don't know for sure, but yeah, that's what I suspect. Okay, so here's Emil. I'm sorry, I can't see her name right, but completely logical for her to make such a statement. Yeah, why would that come up in the conversation? Why would that text message be sent? Some more comments about Rashomon advising her to flee. Cassidy's, can you please advise us what Donna admitted about Wendy? I'm new and lost. Thanks. So on this recording, Donna's saying that she received a text from Wendy saying something to the effect of, I'm innocent. I didn't have anything to do with Danny's murder or death. And words to that effect. I can't remember exactly off the top of my head, but she then says that, oh yes, you are, or yes, you were. So that's what that's what I heard, as well as a couple other folks that are supporting justice for Dan as well as an attorney. So that's what we heard. So until I hear something different or hear better clarification, that's what I think is really a smoking gun admission by co-conspirator Donna, and that's what I think the evidence has revealed, that when he was involved in this. So yeah, I've already played it, so you can go back and listen to this. The version I had, I believe that one came from Law and Crime. And when I heard the one on Law and Crime, that's when I talked to John and said, "Hey, we might want to put this out there because I've heard a lot of tapes, and Law and Crime is the only one talking about the fact that this shows Wendy's involvement through an admission of Donna." Yeah, I think the window's closing for Donna, or excuse me, Wendy, to be able to leave the country. I think they got tabs on her now with these kind of tapes out there. So Sarah Glenn is saying, how did it feel to hear Charlie say your name and talk about your legal opinions?" I just heard one where he's talking about John Steinbeck on the radio. He said he woke up that morning, turned on the radio, and he hears um, John Steinbeck talking about his case and um, as a legal expert. Then he swore and said that I was saying how good Georgia had done in her closing, and he was like really sounded like he was really like shocked to hear that, because I took it from the context that he was hearing the opposite, that everything went great for the defense, Georgia did terrible, the jury's not buying what Georgia's saying, and all that kind of stuff. So I think he was really shocked to hear a different legal opinion out there saying that he had basically a complete worthless defense that was really really laughable and had 0 ounce of credibility to it. So if this is how much they're talking now already, what we just got in the coming days, the coming release of these tapes, just imagine how much more they got on the search warrants they got on the phones and the iPad. So here a question from Mary Perry: what prison did they send Charlie to? I believe it was a central processing type facility. I don't know which one that is, but they're going to process him there for a number of weeks. From what I understand, the process for Florida is, and then they're going to decide which prison to actually send him to. They'll probably do a workup, like a psychological workup and whatnot, to see where he fits in. Obviously, he's going to be around violent criminals as well. So that remains to be seen. I'm sure that will be put out on their website what prison he's at. So I'm sure folks will be reporting on that in the coming weeks. Okay, John Smith is saying, Carl, she definitely said, I didn't say that she was. Sad to say, I thought the same as you at first, but you can hear that it skips a millisecond, that the cadence is consistent with I don't get that at all. So, and maybe you listen to a different version. So, so it remains to be seen. But like I say, the one I heard, there was not that many syllables. So if you heard one that didn't have a break in or something like that, I guess that'd be interesting to see. So yes, I already played the excerpt. Somebody's asked me to play the excerpt. So DS says that Wendy knows every phone call, text being observed. That's why she didn't. That's why she said don't talk about the case. So all right, this guy here is just Just looking for some other cues here. Here we go. Don't you also hear a change in Donna's tone when she says, "Yes, you were"? Yeah, it sounds like she was disagreeing with her, and so, yeah, if she didn't disagree with her, why would she even bring that up, right? It's just there's no other, I think, a reasonable explanation. So, yeah, Roxanne A is saying, "Yes, you were." So that's what we're hearing. So if there's different tape out there, then that sounds better and it's more clear and there's extra syllables in there, then I'll retract my comment. Claudia also says, I heard it very clearly. Oh, yes, you were. So, yes, you were. Yes, you are. There could be a variance on there, but that still leaves the implication that she's involved as well. And I think Donna was mad that she was not accepting responsibility. And I think it's really eating on them now that they did what they could to protect Wendi, and they're probably thinking that she's going to be able to run from this scot free, and they're the ones facing the trial and all the punishment for something they did jointly. Okay, tennis girl 101's asking, how did they get this text? Well, they would have gotten the text probably by now by searching the phone for Donna. But Donna's relaying a verbal message to Charlie about what was on a text she received from Charlie. So we have not seen the actual text. We're just going by what Donna's saying she received in a text from Wendi. So yeah, they're definitely scared. They're running scared. So yeah, there's a hey Mana saying, I truly believe she wrote more than that to prove that she was innocent. Yeah, she's trying to create more distance. She's got to keep maintaining that distance, have some emails out there in case they search phones, which they wound up doing when she got arrested, saying, I didn't have anything to do with this. And she's obviously not going to point the finger at mom in the email or Charlie, but you wouldn't have that conversation, like I say, unless there was some constant deflection and distancing efforts. So Rosemary Romero is saying Wendy's deflecting from herself. She knew everyone would be looking at her. Wendy's word she's possibly next. Yeah, I think she's really getting getting scared here. I can imagine why she wouldn't be. And if Rashmon's telling her that might have the law coming after her really soon, and she takes that to heart and takes off out of the country, I mean, I think you can see the same thing possibly about Wendi here. So Radar also agrees that it's like Wendy's refuting what Wendy's saying in the text by saying, "Yes, you were." Yeah, I mean, it sounds like she's disagreeing with her in an aggressive kind of way, and she said it really fast, like she was angry about the fact that she's trying to claim she's innocent. Patricia Burns also heard the same thing. So, okay, Sonny Tanner saying they're never mentioning the overpaid jury consultants. Yeah, I haven't heard enough of that to know that, but I mean, they definitely thought their lawyers did the right thing, and that this is really just a stupid jury. The jury got it wrong and they didn't care about justice, and it was all pretty much whipped up frenzy to hate on the Adelsons, right? Okay, so is saying the female in the room, maybe Bree or her attorney Marisol. So I don't know what context you guys are talking about somebody else in the room. And so here's someone saying, what about Donna texting Wendy, we protect you, you have a lot to think about. So yeah, I mean, what were they? How much of this were they telling Wendy about them fleeing the country and whatnot? So that'd be interesting to know the truth of that. I think we'll have some of that come out, and some of the text from the phone. Nettie's saying, why didn't Wendy say to her mom that Charlie was wrongly convicted, and Wendy assuring her mom that she would assist Charlie to get off on an appeal? Remember, Wendy's a lawyer. Yeah, that's good insight there. I agree with that. So Beachy Stacy says, How quickly do you think Donna's trial will begin? Also, when do you think potential charges may come from Wendy? So I think Donna's trial is going to happen around the early May time, late April timeframe. I think they are going to demand for speedy trial. I think they're looking for a local attorney to make sure Donna keeps her sanity up until then. And then I think Wendy's charges, I think things are really imploding faster and faster for them. And I think the charges probably will come back down, well, because she's going to have a sooner trial. I'd say they come around at the time of her trial, if not sooner. That makes the most sense because every day those boys don't see the Markells of Canada, I think is another day of an absolute huge injustice and a moral crime of pretty huge proportions because it's just so disgusting to think that an entire family tree could be cut out. You can change the last name of the boys, change the middle name that has a connection to the Markells. It's just so over the top, in your face, bold, mean, disgusting, and evil that's why I just think the prosecution needs to get fired up and keep driving a stake through this evil plan that killed Dan Markel. Sonny M is saying, "Why didn't they discuss the fake conspiracy? That was that was the surprise of the universe." Yeah, we had to wait. What was it, 40 minutes for that big extortion defense theory to come out? So, not talking about that at all, are they? Because the murder plan all started with them, and they just looked for some desperate people that needed money and were willing to do that kind of horrible, nasty crime. Oh, here's John jumping in. Thanks, John. Sadie, I slowed it down too in audition. There's not enough waveform spikes to have 6 syllables. So John has like some high tech kind of stuff that actually can show the wave bars for sound, voice inflections, word inflections, I should say. And so thanks, John. I think that helps show it there. Now there's actually other like super high software that the experts use for digital forensics. And what else says Wendy will be arrested when they finish digital forensics? Yeah, I think that's would coincide with the timeline I'm talking about. Probably the next 5 months. Here's a good comment from 789. He's in disbelief because he thought he had all the answers and no one bought it. Yeah, I mean he's just really shocked because like I've said before, they think money can buy him out of every problem. It doesn't matter who it is, what it is. Doesn't matter the fact he's in jail and he's never had experience that before. And so he just was in his mind, he's going home. He just had a rough year and a half, but that's it. He's going home and he's going back to being the maestro. Lori Gregory saying, "Do you not think it's best to charge Wendy now or wait until Donna's court case?" No, I think it's better to charge her now because, like I say, the boys factor alone would be a reason to speed it up. And if they do, if she does demand speedy trial, like her mom, you could always try to merge the two trials together and try them in one trial. So Society page is saying jury is out on this one. Okay, so I guess there's still some people that think this could be incorrect on what the version of the tapes are. So yeah, so I think we got a couple of trolls here. I've been warned that we got a couple of Adelson trolls on here. So I don't have any mods here right now working tonight. I don't believe so. But you guys can have reasonable minds and differ. But yeah, there's some people that I'm being warned about are consistently coming on to JTM trying to constantly advocate for pro Adelson defense theories. Yeah, Deb C says the confiscated phones are going to put a bow on this case. Yeah, I think it really is. Well, we also got these audio tapes. And if you think about how many audio tapes have been released, I don't know the extent of all of them that have been released, but think about how many hours there are since the time for last year and a half. How many hours a day? I don't know how many are going to be able to be released in toto, but think about how many hours and hours and hours. I mean, who's going to sit through all that? But I think they got somebody. I think somebody would in the attorney's office would probably be cataloging all these and listening to all of them, probably as they came in the door, is my guess, instead of waiting all now to yeah, it sounds like, but yes, you were, like, it maybe that's the most other in front of yes, you were. So I will I'll leave it at that. Hear from Barbara Henninger saying, did I hear Donna say she wasn't talking to Wendy after Charlie asked her how Wendy was? Yeah, I didn't get that far in the tape. Sorry. Can somebody else answer that, please? Yeah, so here's a Emily saying Charlie and Donna constantly repeat the same point, so it's very possible Donna made this statement more than once, or if there exists a version with someone else in the room. So yeah, and like I say, they're talking code. They'll maybe say something directly contradictory to be able to argue. No, I didn't say that. I didn't say that at all. So I think I think it's of good use. If it's accurate, it's of good use. Definitely good use. So yeah, I don't know what prison he went to. Katrina T. I just listened again and heard, yes, you were. Yeah, I think Katrina is an attorney in another country. Rosemary Romero is asking, could Donna be throwing Wendy under the bus considering they murdered Dan Markel, her ex-husband, for Wendy's benefit? There's okay, the cat's trying to pull down my camera. Come here, kitty. LJ, don't. She's trying to climb it. Come here. All right. This little LJ here, sorry. So Terry M is saying Donna was upset Wendy didn't, I think you mean to say didn't come by or call after the conviction. So that's that's something that yeah, where was Wendy? Why wasn't she up there seeing her brother? Sorry, let me go to see some of these other comments. And we haven't heard any phone conversations to the jail with when Charlie was in jail with from his sister at all, right? So that's very interesting. Oh, here, Madam Reporter says, I am a court reporter, so I have magic ears, and I heard yes, you were. Yeah, I mean that's true. You're better than any attorney at picking out words. So thank you, Madam Reporter. So unless there's a different version out there that could be enhanced differently, I'm just telling you what I'm hearing, okay? And here's a court reporter that's heard the same thing I'm hearing, the same thing reported on Law and Crime. So if you guys want to differ and see how it turns out, then I guess we can leave it out there if somebody wants to call it a hung jury. And I'm just uh, I'm just going by what I heard with my own ears. So if this was said in a court of law, this court reporter, assuming you are a court reporter, would transcribe the exact same thing that Law and Order is saying they heard, the same thing I heard, and same thing a whole lot of other people here are confirming. So here, Roger W. Apparently you're sorry, Roger W. Apparently you're new to the show. He's asking, can you tell me how Wendy got involved here? If you want to go to Jury Trial Mentor on this channel, you can see an indicator presentation that John, my brother, and I had put together, and that one has over 100 indicators, and there's a lot better version that I went through on another channel, which I'm going to be recreating here in an even better one. But that's going to be in the coming months. I'm not ready to do that one yet. So okay, Gracie May saying many of us are hearing it different. So okay, maybe it's which version of the tape you heard. So maybe we're both hearing the right things, and there's two different versions of tapes. So, but and if that was the case, then here Savannah Bell's also saying it sounds like yes, you were to me, and it sounds like in an angry tone. So you got to consider the tone aspects as well, not just what was you think you heard. So it's and it sounded like she was angry the fact that she's saying she's not involved. That's what I picked up right away. So she was not happy about Donna saying Wendy saying that. That's how I took it. So Maui Swift is saying November 6th to December 2nd have been released. So there's a lot more to be released on different dates and whatnot. So okay, thank you for clarifying that. Okay, Teresa M is saying SDS played that snippet. It sounded different, more like never said you were, and all the panelists agreed that's what it sounded like. Okay, well that's then you guys got a different tape. So yeah, would I'll can someone explain to Carl that the calls without Charlie and went on for 20 minutes? Okay, so I do know that some of this was her talking and she didn't hang up her line, only the jail line of it hung up. So I didn't realize that was 20 minutes. So that's good to know. Another Janelle said yes, you were. Somebody else says which she was. So yeah, okay. Well, I guess some different people heard different things, but I'll go with the court reporter on this one. So unless somebody's going to come up with a different tape, we'll go with that one for now. That's what I'm going to stick with. So reasonable minds can differ. So all right. So I'm gonna. Any last questions here? I'm gonna sign it off here in a couple minutes. Yeah, Teresa Allen saying I hear three syllables. Word did and has too many syllables. So yeah, unless there's a different version of the tape, I'm really standing by the court reporter. This Yeah, paralegal Mandy too here says it sounds like Donna was angrily coming back to the replying the text. Also think about why she's repeating this to your son's convicted of murder and you're going to bring up the fact that your daughter had nothing to do with this. I mean, why would you even mention that? So why would Wendy send the text to her mom about this issue? And then why would she even repeat that to rub it in and make her son, her convicted murder son, angry about it? So it makes no sense other than the fact that she was bringing up in disgust at the fact that Wendy's trying to skate free from this. Roxanne is saying Donna was upset, mad, and above all heartbroken for Charlie. Yes, you were involved, Wendy. That's what she was saying. Okay, so yeah, the context of how she said it and stuff like that, I don't. You'd have to have. I'd have to hear that tape and say there's two versions of the tape to believe anything differently. So okay, well that's all I wanted to say tonight. And more to follow on this. So we'll hear more tapes. I'm going to be on Court TV tomorrow night talking about these tapes. So I got to get up to speed on some more of these. So if there's something out there you guys think I should know about in preparation for that, don't hesitate to email me. And I won't necessarily be able to email you back, but if there's some snippet or something on some channel or something you want to forward to me, I'd appreciate that. I'm going to look over as much as I can tomorrow. Granted, if there's 5 hours out there, I can't listen to every version. But John says he'll post a 600% slowdown video clip of Donna's words to question here later. Okay, thanks, John. And like I say, I'm just going by what my impressions were. My gut reaction on this are really solid. And so if there's another version out there of tape, well, let's just we'll see how that pops out. But that's all for now. So thank you, y'all. Have a good night.